So welcome to our weekly collective call every night at Tuesday, every night on, oh my gosh, my words just left. I was fine. Amity and I were just talking and all of a sudden I don't have full sentences. Welcome to our weekly call. We do this every Tuesday night at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, 5:30 Mountain, 4:30 Pacific, 3:30 Hawaii, and I don't know what time in Guam for our people in Guam and all over the world. So thanks so much for joining us tonight. If you are, we do this live, and then I'll always post the link into our bot group. And we would love to see engagement with the comments there as well. If you have any things that you'd like to share, we will always engage and answer questions and take feedback with the newsletter or the call, however you're willing to share it with us. So this week, Amity, do you want to start us off? Kelly, you said you're still not getting it. I just made sure that you were included on it earlier today. So it might be, you might want to check your spam, because I double checked yesterday to make sure that you were on the list. I will forward it to you now, but you might want to check your spam.
Yeah,
and for those who feel like they're not getting it, double check with your coach, but also let us know and check your spam. There's a possibility that it may be filtered into that for some reason, or like if you have Gmail, you may have a sensitive like promotions email, promotion section that Gmail kind of makes. So make sure that you're always doing that. And if you find it in there, you can change the rule of it to make sure that it's always going into your inbox instead of your promotions. Amity, will you start us off about maybe some of your favorite things from the email today?
Remind me which recipe we had, because I forgot which was this week.
Does anyone have it pulled up? Does anyone know what the recipe was this week? I know that you're.
Why are we echoing, Chair?
I was about to pull it up actually, so I can pull it up right now. If anybody knows it, just unmute or type it in the chat. Because Amity and I were building out the next few weeks, so I think I don't want to say the wrong thing.
All I know is I was loving the recipe. I'll pull it up real quick.
Breakfast burrito.
Oh yeah, breakfast burrito. Thanks, Lauren.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a breakfast burrito. You can't go wrong with anything Mexican in my mind. So I'm always trying to make my Mexican healthier. It was awesome. When I lived in Raleigh, we had this place that made the best ceviche. So I felt like that was like, I could eat that every night. And it was like a good choice. I don't have that here, but I'm sure it exists somewhere. I just haven't found it yet. But yes, I've been loving the recipes. I'm going to try this one this week. And I always love, Sharon always picks the best desserts, and she always makes the best mug cakes. If you're ever with Sharon in person, you have to have her make you a mug cake, because she makes a mug cake every day. But that's I know people get tired of drinking their Shakeology. And especially in the winter months, I feel like I get tired of drinking the cold, or I just make it really small and just chug it down so I can just get the health benefits of it and not focus on the long lasting smoothie effect. But a mug cake is like the way to go in the winter, I feel like, especially because it's kind of soothing and warm and you kind of get that dessert vibe. And it's just good, and it's good for you. So that I've been loving. What else? This week we talked about how your twists improve your mood, increase your serotonin, and get more oxygen and blood moving, and then therefore more oxygen flowing to your brain and pumping out to the rest of your body. So let me know how you've been doing on the twist, if it's been helping your digestion maybe, or just your mood. Let me know about that. Always, I love Sharon's mindset stuff, because that's where I struggle. So that's why she is the mindset person and not me. So I always take what she says to heart and try to implement as much as I can. And I hope you all do too. That's all I've got.
Has anyone noticed changes in, so our mindset piece, so this is the second twisting installment, right? And last week was more about body. This is more about emotional balance, right? How you can actually de-stress and hormonal balance. And then for mindset, we've been working and building on replacement of phrases and the negative self-talk that can just be so pervasive. And some of the things mentioned were even, I think we often say things like, I'm trying, which is, it's a little bit of like a plead. It's a little bit of a defensiveness. If you feel personally attacked, it's because I'm talking about you. Whenever we're saying like, I'm trying to do this. The funny thing about the phrase I'm trying is it is this thing in the future that exists without anything specific, without anything measurable, without any time attached to it. And this trying is also because our mind is eavesdropping in on us all of the time and wants to make us right. Our mind hears, I'm trying. And Amity, that's a good one too. I'll include that because our mind says, I'm trying, or I suck at, or I'm just not really good at. A common one is I'm not good at remembering names, or like I'm trying. And I'm trying sounds like we're twisting the I'm not good at into a positive, but I'm trying is still, it's letting yourself off the hook because your brain hears, okay, there's really no measurement for success. Trying doesn't, like we're trying, I'm trying to get out of bed at 5 a.m. to go work out. But that also means that there is absolutely no pressure if you don't, right? Instead of saying something like I'm trying, we can say things like, I am someone who gets up at 5 a.m. to work out, even if you haven't done it yet. I am living in the present because I'm trying is this like nebulous cloud, whereas I am is touching into sound, taste, smell, hearing, like everything here. I am someone who gets up. I am getting up at 5 a.m. Because then when 5 a.m. comes around, you've already told yourself, I get up at 5 a.m. And your brain will say, hey, it's 5. It's time to get up, right? Rather than I'm trying. And then you wake up and it's like, well, I'm trying, so it's okay if hit or miss. And here's the thing, it totally is. But I'm trying means it's not particularly that important to you to do. And your brain hears that and says, cool, not that important, right? So instead of this nebulous, arbitrary, like even like apathetic to a certain extent language, let's just take it. And if you're uncomfortable becoming that identity, maybe it's too soon for that identity. Maybe that's too big because we talk about small steps. Maybe that's too big of a jump. So maybe there's something between where you are now and getting up at 5 a.m. every day. Maybe it's 6, or maybe it's getting up at 5 a.m. and not doing a damn thing, but just getting out of bed and not hitting snooze. Maybe getting out of bed at 5 a.m. and then doing 60 minutes of cardio is way too big of a change. But if you cannot hit snooze at 5 a.m, that's a win, right? Read, eat coffee, enjoy the peace and quiet before the children or the dogs start bothering you, or cats. I don't know. Cats don't really bother anyone, right? But before, Kelly's shaking her head saying no.
If I move a little bit, she's like offering me with really loud meows. So no, but she doesn't. But my cat, I'm fortunate. My cat doesn't wake me up to do that. But if I show any movement, it's over.
Yeah, over. It's the same thing with one of our dogs. And the other thing, like I'm not good at, your mind will hear that I'm not good at remembering names. Guess who's never going to remember a name? Right? If you say I'm not good at, your brain's like, cool, no pressure. We don't have to remember a damn thing that you just said. And then we get into this like, well, I've met this person 5 times. I can never remember their name, right? Like, I feel like I'm supposed to know their name. And then we get into this whole like, odds are they don't remember your name either, first of all. Second of all, there's no shame in being like, I'm so sorry, I don't remember your name. And then repeat it back to them. And if you really want to get better at remembering names, there are so many tricks out there. It's just a matter of being a priority. So
How do you, Sharon, how do you deal with that if if it's fact? Because I have, with my ADHD, I have a memory issue.
sure,
It's associated with my ADHD. So when I say I have a hard time remembering names, I'm not putting myself down, but my actions show that, you know.
sure.
And
Well,
it's not
that,
just with names, it's just my memory is sucked, you know, it's just challenged by my ADHD. And so I don't, it's just part of my life. So I
and
just,
totally. So when we're set up for things that are genetics or hormone or environment, makes things more challenging, right? Makes things more of a challenge. It just means that we have to work harder at them to find measurable improvement than someone who is naturally gifted with amazing memory to rote memorize everything and spit it out, hasn't had concussions, doesn't have any diagnosed hormonal imbalances, like all of those things. That just means that people with memory challenges are going to have to work harder at it to find measurable improvement. But I do genuinely believe, and neuroscience proves, we are capable of finding measurable improvement as long as we are measuring against ourselves and not other people.
right. But how do you
Right.
word that? Like you were talking about, I'm not good at, like,
So
how would you
uh,
word that in my
I'm
situation?
I actively work to remember names, right? Like taking ownership of that. I actively try hard. It's just a matter of whether or not whether it's important or not. I actively, I am practicing the work of remembering names. I am doing the work. I am in this present statement of whatever it is. I am practicing getting up at 5 a.m. I am practicing drinking half of my body weight in water. I am practicing remembering names. I am working to improve. But yeah, I mean, it's also the difference, not to be super like gauche, but it's also the difference between someone who has a ton of privilege and then rises to be CEO versus someone who comes from the foster care system is going to have to work harder to get to that CEO level because they don't have the inherent privileges that they were born with. That doesn't mean that they can't get there.
Oh no, I
Right?
get that part of it.
Yeah. But it's the same
I was
thing
just
when it
wondering
comes to
about
like
the wording though
challenges.
too, just how you would word that out.
Yeah. No, thank you for asking. That's a great question. So how have we, let's open it up. How have we, I turned on the heat in this room and I am all of a sudden so hot. It's only been like 15 minutes. Has anyone found themselves paying more attention to language? Love to open it up to the group.
Does anybody else want to talk before I talk again?
Well, I do think it's so important that Sharon, that you said that I'm trying piece, because I think trying, like you said, we take it as such a positive statement, like, oh, I'm trying, but it's almost like we give ourselves a pass, like, oh, I tried, but it didn't work out. So it's okay because I tried. Yeah. So I think that's huge. Like if you say like, I'm not good at this, that's already negative, but I'm trying. We always would think that, oh, well, you tried, like, that's so good. You tried. And I think that comes from us being little, like when we were little kids, when your parents were like, just try. I don't know, but I just think putting that spin on it makes a huge difference in how I will approach moving forward.
I think, and this may be a bit harsh, but I think of trying as like a participation medal, right? Like, well, you
Yeah.
tried, congratulations, right? You tried, you
Yeah.
set your alarm for 5, slept right through it, didn't give a shit, snoozed 5 times, treat it like any other morning, except with 15-minute intervals instead. Did you really try? But we want to give ourselves a medal instead. Like set yourself up with a win. Take a smaller step, 6, or just not hitting snooze. Right? Like, yeah, I think of I'm trying as a participation medal for sure. Like,
yeah, I want a gold medal.
right? Like earn it. We can earn it. I am. Actually, but Kelly, I want you to share, but I'm actually going to pitch it to Lauren. Lauren has, I prepped her ahead of time. I said, I'm going to ask you to share, or actually I said, would you mind sharing tonight? And that's right. And then I said, okay, I'm going to ask you to share. Lauren has this really cool reward system with an I am, like I am going to finish this thing. And then when I finish this thing, this is, so would you mind sharing and then like, and tell us the evolution of it?
Sure. So it started, I would probably say after my first or second program that I completed. I've heard before, when you complete something, when people reward themselves and they reward themselves with like a cheeseburger or a cheat meal and stuff. And that's not where I was at. So I wanted to reward myself with a new set of weights, going up a higher weight. Because when I started back in September of 2020, I owned 5-pound weights and that was it. And now I have 5s, 7.5s, 10s, 15s, 20s, 25s, and 30s, because every time I complete a program, I reward myself by buying the next set of weights that, in increments of 5, because I know now I've moved up and now I can lift 30 pounds. Same thing with sneakers. So at the end of a program, I've had sneakers that I've had on my brain. And when I complete that program, I got sneakers. And this time I set it up so I have a spa weekend with my mom and my sister. And I knew that it was 8 weeks out. So I picked a program that's 8 weeks. And I am on week 7 of it. And I know that at the end of 8 weeks, when it's completed, I will be able to, go to the spa and I'll be proud of myself. And that is my reward to myself. And it's much better. I mean, I'm not going to reward myself with like an edible treat or something because I'm not an animal. I mean, I know that people do that and great if that's your thing, but I'm all about a new workout outfit or new weights or a spa weekend.
Katie in the comments said, I love that you're still getting rewards for yourself that focus on health and wellness progression, right? Like it's all within the same line. And I think one of the reasons why you feel like it's incongruous to reward yourself with like a massive day of indulgence and decadence is because that's like not really in line with what you're rewarding yourself for. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's just true.
And will you share how you feel about decadence?
I am also
you're sharing.
Katie. I am also food motivated. What did she say? What did you say?
Katie in the comments said I may or may not be food motivated. She's very food motivated. I said, will you share how you feel about decadence? Because you just shared that with me when we were talking earlier today.
You mean like how I feel about going to the spa, or what do you mean?
No. Sorry. Food indulgence, decadence. Like you were talking about your mom and the cake.
Oh yeah. So things that I've learned, so many things from this whole program and you and everybody else, is just that the minute you take something away from yourself, the minute you restrict yourself, it's constantly on your brain, and that's all you obsess about. So you say that you're on a diet, and an opportunity to go out to dinner comes up and you say, oh, I can't because I'm on a diet. But now you're not being present and hanging out with family or friends because of these things. So there was, for example, last week I was just telling Sharon this, that I use some words that she has taught me that I have now, that is my mindset, that my mom made a cake for my dad for his birthday last week, a homemade cake. It's his favorite thing. And my mom is typically a savory foods person instead of a sweets person. My mom is just trying to eat a little bit healthier. And she said to me that all she thought about all day was cake. And she's probably going to end up eating half the cake because she doesn't even like sweets, but because she's trying to eat less calories or something, that it's all that she's going to think about. So it was great that I could send a text message to her and say, why don't you think about this? Like, why are you telling yourself that you can't eat the cake? It's dad's birthday. You made the cake. Sit down and enjoy a piece with dad. And then if you want another piece, have it and enjoy it. But I guarantee you, once you have the slice of cake with dad and it's, you say happy birthday and stuff, you're not going to want another piece. And lo and behold, she had her cake with dad and didn't want another piece after that because she wasn't telling herself she couldn't eat it. You know, that's how I feel about it. And it was great to be able to use things that I've learned and now tell mom.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
It's just, it's, so like I hear so many things in that story. There is a really lovely ripple effect of deciding to make positive choices for ourselves, for yourself. Everyone on this call and listening, watching later, there's a really positive ripple effect if you let it, right? This is your journey and it's incredibly personal and you have to navigate it in the way that you see fit. But you also have the ability to share nuggets that can help others around you feel like there's less pressure, which is what Lauren did for her mom. And I have no doubt that they will talk more about it when they go on a Lauren sister mom spa day thing after like that, knowing that it's the reward for finishing her next program, that it's all, like she gets to look forward to that thing. Kelly in the comments said, I hate to celebrate things with just food, birthdays, awards, etc. Yeah. And I think it's a slippery slope because there's that, and Lauren and I were talking about this earlier, there's that like, I deserve this thing. And that's not how Lauren or how rewards can be. It's not this deserve, it's that like, you did really well and you're proud of yourself. So she's going to reward herself with more weights or a spa day or a pair of sneakers. But I think sometimes we get into this slippery slope of like, I just had a really hard workout, I deserve this brownie. Right. And it's like, have the brownie no matter what. If you want the brownie, have the brownie and enjoy it and be present with it. If you're present with that single brownie rather than eating it absentmindedly, because like that's why chips are like, you can't have just one, because you never sit down and eat chips and are like, all right, chip number one, right? It's like you're eating it while watching something else. And then before you know it, the bag's gone. If we're present with it, odds are you'll enjoy that thing. So if you have the brownie, want the brownie, it has nothing to do with the workout that you just did. It doesn't have to, at least if we're able to keep those separate. You work out because you feel good. You eat the brownie because you want it at the end. Right. So yeah, I agree, Kelly. I think that centering it around cake, it's kind of an American thing too, where it's like everyone centers around the cake and the birthday candles, and that's like the culmination of the party, and then everybody has to have some. I think we get to reinvent them now because you're in your own journey. Kelly, you wanted to share about your phrases and some of those mindset shifts.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been reading Atomic Habits, and I've always had a hard time with motivation and goal planning and stuff. And it's been a really interesting journey to switch those over, where he talks about identity based versus goal based. That I want to be a person of movement. I want to be a person of, of integrity and some other things. And I'll just give, for instance, today I have had no motivation this week. I don't know if it's because I'm still grieving the loss of my dog or what, and some other things, but and that I just had a full weekend. But I haven't been motivated to walk. I was supposed to do a 5K on Saturday. I ended up with the cat on my chest and fell asleep to the beginning of the Super Bowl. So I just was like, okay, maybe I'll get it done, whatever. And I've been very focused on some cleaning activities in my house today, and so I didn't like overly plan to walk at all today. But I went to the Pikes Peak Center, Sharon, which is our local theater, and I'm trying to find an elevator. But the one elevator we used to get to that theater is out, so I needed to go and find the other elevator in the building. And so I did that, took the elevator down to the ground floor, ended up walking the block just to say I moved. And so it's just it was just like, and I'm not going to track it for anything because I don't think I walked. I know I didn't walk a mile, so I'm just like, okay, but I moved, and I got those steps in, and so I'm finding that the I am statements help me because they give me, if I'm going to do this, I am a person who does that, or whatever. It means it's proof that I am doing, it's proof that I am a mover. So, so yeah, so, um, and I'll just give one other story. My mom, I had undiagnosed ADHD as a child, come to find out. And my mom would come, I would try to make my bed. And my mom my mom never understood what I know now as ADHD and stuff. And so she would come behind me and fix it the way she wanted it fixed. Well, I got to the point where I said, well, she's going to come behind me anyhow. And my tries aren't good enough. So I lost motivation totally, you know, from, for getting better at making my bed, because I knew my mom was going to come behind me because my try wasn't good enough. So, that it can go both ways, kind of like what we were talking about. So,
How are you turning that how are you reframing those experiences as far as the trying or the attempts now?
I don't make my bed. My side of the bed, I just get up. If I can get up and not, I guess I just get up, and I don't sleep with many bedclothes because of my ADHD and my sensory issues. I would have a comforter and a sheet on me, and somehow my body would get that sheet off the bed every night. And so I just decided to sleep with just the heaviest thing I could get on my bed. I sleep with a weighted blanket now. So if I can just get it off of me and get up, I'm happy.
I think something that you said really cool in the I am statements is that it is like, when you say I am, and then you're doing that thing, it serves as proof, which is really cool because that can be cyclical, right? Like you use an I am statement, and then you did the thing, and then that serves as proof. And then the chemicals in our brain and our body like want to create that cycle again in a really nice way. And I was just talking to Lauren and someone else today, and we said, I was reminded and also reminding that the pace and intensity at which we do things, the distance, even the length matters less than the consistency by giving ourselves that proof. So whether you did a mile or 10 or one step in the direction that you wanted to go, that you told yourself you were going, the consistency matters so much more than the pace, intensity, distance. It's just a matter of showing up and providing ourselves that proof. Amity, I see you shaking your head. Thoughts?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I didn't realize I was shaking my head so much. I'm like, yeah, Sharon, yes. No, yeah, I totally think you're right. Yeah, I'm with you. 100%. Dee Dee, how are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in. I almost died. I had COVID. It was very serious.
Oh gosh.
I didn't almost die.
Oh.
I don't realize that everyone doesn't recognize my sarcasm. I'm fine.
Okay, good.
Dee Dee, how are you?
I'm good too. I'm ironing.
Oh my gosh, that was
I'm
Katie
doing fine.
talking. I thought that was Dee Dee talking, and I was like, wait, that Dee Dee's mouth is not moving. That was Katie. Okay, you did not almost die, Katie. I'm glad, and I'm glad you're negative now. Yes. And then Dee Dee, okay, Dee Dee did not have COVID. I was like, wait.
No, I haven't
Okay.
had COVID in 2 years.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
I'm like the only one at work who hasn't had it in the last, well, there's 3 out of 9 of us who haven't tested positive in the last 3 weeks. But I work in a prison, and yeah, since I'm up to date on my vaccines and wear my mask, and I don't
Dee Dee,
know.
are you a pharmacist?
I am.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm a
Awesome.
pharmacist, working with the finest of Michigan.
Well, someone has to, so I'm glad you do.
Yeah, and that trying thing, I'm going to try not to say trying anymore.
Right? It's so
I'm very
powerful.
guilty of that.
Well, and what do
think
you, so I would love to engage with you on that if you're willing, Dee Dee. What do you think, how do you feel when you say I'm trying, and what do you think is the feedback loop that you're in when you say I'm trying, like with yourself?
Like, I agree with what you were talking about earlier, like, you're kind of like giving yourself an out, if you don't succeed. And, like, I have a daughter, and, she'd always say, well, I'm trying, and my husband would say, don't try, just do it. So it's kind of like, I just need to tell myself, don't try, just do it. And I'm on week 3 of the 21-day fix right now. So after this meeting tonight, I'll probably be doing my second workout today. But, and there's a lot of moves that, I know my knees are not the best. So the surrender move, the first move of the whole 21-day fix, that move sucks. I do not like that move. I modify, and yeah, I do what I can.
Honestly, you should feel totally fine about modifying that. Absolutely, you should feel totally fine about modifying that. I think that is the hardest move in the whole 21-day fix. It's the hardest on your knees for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I will share one win. My husband bought me a shirt for Valentine's Day, and like, I want to go back and try a smaller size. So hopefully the smaller size will fit. But yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. It is awesome.
21 Day Fix was actually Lauren's very first program. And I remember when Lauren was talking to me about it, she was like, this, I did not realize where I was. Like, that probably feels like decades ago to you at this point, like where you are, because she's consistently like started and finished program, a ton of them since then. Now that she's looking at like making a hybrid between ones that she's already finished. But like when Lauren first did it, she was like, I will keep doing it, but I did not realize where I was.
I modified the hell out of that first program, and surrenders were the absolute worst. I will say that as well. And I had a very difficult time doing them. And I think Autumn does surrenders in another program that I did a couple months later, and I did it. And I was like, holy shit, like, okay, this was so difficult, but just stick with it. I'm telling you, it was so difficult in the beginning, but a couple months later, I mean, I don't know what your knee situation is like, but there's no shame in modifying. None. I modify. I'm doing Insanity Max 30 now, and I modify all the time. Ain't no shame in that game. None.
And what did I just say to you, right? It's the intensity and the pace do not matter compared to the consistency. Do not matter. If you are showing up and doing the program, I do not care and no one cares if you are stepping through it and going and like you're going like an inch in depth. You are showing up, you are showing yourself consistency, you're giving yourself proof, you're giving yourself a win by doing it. And here's the thing, anything that you do, modifying or not, is a new baseline every single day. Right. Like Lauren came back to, it was 9-week control freak when you did it later. Lauren found surrenders later on with an Autumn program and realized that her new baseline with surrenders changed, right? Like, we just get to establish a new baseline every day. So wherever you felt or feel like surrenders are, that's a baseline for today. And you can let yourself off the hook by saying, this is my baseline today, right? Like, and as long as we keep showing up, the consistency will be the proof. Dee Dee, it's awesome.
Did anybody else do the community workout on Saturday? Like, I joined it like maybe 5 or 6 minutes late. So I didn't know who the lady was, but I liked the workout. It was cool. But I don't know if were any of you guys on the community workout last Saturday?
This was one.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, this is one of the few that we didn't go. What did she look like? What did the program look like?
She was like African American.
Lacey,
Lacey.
was she kind of thick?
Cher, you like
Just
Lacey, right?
She was
I
a
love
little
Lacey. Was she a little thick? And she
Yeah.
had like this ha type of laugh.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it was like all these video screen, like everybody was remote and she was talking to everybody and like showing them on their screen. And
Yeah.
it was like
So
I liked it. It was cool.
So it was a body
Dee Dee,
video with Lacey. I think
yeah.
it was a body camp video with Lacey.
Yeah.
I love Lacey. And for those who have done MBF, Lacey was the modifier in that program. And Lacey is actually a fitness instructor in body. And she does a lot of like, she is a really great inclusive trainer, having been the modifier for a few other programs. She's really great at saying like, this is the intensity that this person is going to go at. Like you can step through it. You can like Lacey's. I love Lacey's energy. Like it is hard for me to be in a bad mood with Lacey on the screen. But that was Lacey, Lacee. You can look her up in Body as a trainer, and she does a lot of different types of programs, but I believe that was a body camp.
Okay. Thanks.
I think so too. Dee Dee, do you have Body?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do you know how to have you been using it since you've been doing a program? Like if
No.
you're doing 21 Day Fix? If you need
I
help,
just-
just
I
message
just
me
look
and I'll
up,
help
I
you.
mean, I've done the, well, I started the 645 and I started that twice and never finished it. Then I started the 20 job one, I did the job one, and now I'm doing the 21 day.
The good thing about 21 Day Fix, I feel like, guys, is that if you've never done it, it's the first program I did. And actually, Dee Dee, my sister, called me after the first day and she said, I'm never doing those suicides again. And I was like, what suicides? What are you talking about? We didn't do suicides. And she meant the surrenderers. So the good thing about 21 Day Fix and the bad thing about 21 Day Fix is the same thing. It's 3 weeks and it's 3 weeks, but each week is the same. So it's 1 week, 3 times. So it's good because you know what's coming, and it's bad because you know it's coming.
Right.
But that way you can definitely, up your game, or you can kind of compare, like, am I growing from last week? And if you're not growing from last week, that's if you need to modify, that's fine, right? Just knowing where you are, that's what Sharon would say. Just knowing where you are and being able to compare and move on from there is what you need to do, because not every day is going to be a growth day.
Right.
And that's okay.
And it's the consistency no matter what, like recognizing it's like I make this analogy a lot, but we think like once we start a new thing, the path is this, right? Like start to finish, we think the path is this. But in reality, I don't know if you can see this, the squiggly line. In reality, it's this, right? We start down here, we finish all the way up here, but when we get to here, we're like, it's all up, it's all over, right? Like I went all the way up here and now I'm back down here. But what we don't realize is that bottom part, the lowest of the low, our first low, is higher than when we started. And then we rise up again and we're like, this is amazing. And then we might have a regression and we feel like this is the worst it could possibly get. We're doing terribly. There's no point. But we are so much higher than where we started. And then the next low is higher than the very first high, right? But we get through all of that. The trend line is still straight up when we zoom out. But we get through those peaks and valleys and we're like, that's it, right? Like there's no, like I was just progressing. Or if your focus is weight loss, it's like, I just lost 5 pounds and then I gained 2. Like, what is the point, right? And it's like, well, nothing in nature is linear like that. The trees lose leaves every year and then they come back, right? But they look like they're dead in the middle of winter every single year. like we have to give ourselves that like phoenix burning phase into the ashes before we can rise again. And it just happens a lot. The longer we do this, the more consistent we stay showing up, the more ups and downs we're going to have. But when we zoom out, that trend line is straight up. The farther out we zoom. So it's just a matter of staying consistent, recognizing, like Amity said, like every day isn't going to be a progression, but you showed up, and that's the proof. The proof is not inconsistent weight loss. The proof is that you showed up. Some announcements. Got 4-week for a healthy gut coming up in March. And I know Amity is super excited for our autumn people, 21-day fix, 9-week control freak favorites. This is an autumn program. Autumn has kind of behind the scenes, she doesn't talk about it a ton, but Autumn has gone through a lot of health gut issues, a ton. So whenever she creates, when the fact that she created this new program, she will tell you, like Amity and I were in person with her in October for like a nice long weekend. And she talked to us about how like she made this for her. And if you follow 2B Mindset, Ilana made the 2B pregnant for herself. And then she has the opportunity to roll it out to other people. Autumn has gone through a ton of gut health issues, like doctor after doctor after doctor could figure it out. And so this gut health program is a big answer to that, to give meaningful opportunity and steps to really kind of like restart and start to learn how to best help yourself and your gut with easy things at home. It also will come with 4 weeks of workouts. You'll see some old moves that you know, but it's a totally new program. Also in the email, a new kind of PDF checklist to help with some PD, love your community in the feeling of February, just some nice fun things to do throughout February and March.
Sharon, can I tell you really something simple I did on my walk today? I've decided that it's Valentine's month.
Nice.
So I've been wishing that's where I was also for the county offices, for government offices, and there were people leaving, and I was like, happy Valentine's month and stuff. And just saying that made people laugh and just smile. And so that's something easy you can do without even having to prep anything,
I love that. And the one of the final things that mentioned on the video was that, like, this is about the time you on this call, you're showing up, whether you're watching it later or whether you're here live with us now, you are staying consistent. In the grand scheme of things, you're staying consistent. It doesn't matter what this morning or today or tonight or last night looked like. In the grand scheme of things, you're staying consistent. The people who don't have support, this is about the time that those New Year's resolutions and brand new, like new year, new me habits start to wane, because they realize it's a long game and we are so used to instant gratification, click, like we have the thing, or microwave dinners or Costco snacks like Oliver Twist. Like we have all of these things that are so instant that this is the time where it starts to wane. And this is where you can absolutely do your part to spread that ripple effect out. Throw the pebble into the rock, let your friends and family know that you're here for them, that you're doing this, and that health is something that we're all better together in. Lauren is feeling that now. When Lauren started in 2020, her mom and her sister were like, sure, that sounds great for you. And now like the three of them are in a little accountability group together. And that like, and that wasn't like a Lauren being like, do this with me, do this with me, do this with me, do this with me. They had to see the proof in Lauren a little bit. So your friends and family are seeing the proof with you. They're seeing that you're making the change, however subliminal it is. And this is the opportunity that you have to show up for them when motivation does start to wane, recognizing that motivation and inertia and momentum are all the same thing. We have to move and take action to do it. So if your people start to feel like the motivation is waning, your friends and family and loved ones, help them take action. Help them, show them what you're doing. You don't have to be an expert. Who the hell is? You just get to say, this is what I'm doing. We can do it together. Amity?
Love that. Also, I wanted to just say, till the end of the month, the Beach Bars, the chocolate cherry almond, which are my favorite, When I first ordered Beach Bars, I thought peanut butter chocolate were going to be my favorite. And then I thought that I thought the peanut butter chocolate were going to be my favorite. So that's all I ordered at first. And then I ordered the chocolate cherry and I love them so much. I want to eat one every day. Sometimes I do. So anyways, those are on sale 20% off. And the mixed berry energized packets are on sale 20% off this week or this month. And if you haven't had that before, it's very delicious if you mix it with a lemon. It's good on its own too, but I really like it if you mix it with a lemon. I know Sharon is not an energizer, but I know Katie is, right? Yeah. Anyway, so those two things are on sale for the rest of the month if you are needing. Don't be sorry, Katie. That's it. Sorry, not sorry.
And if you're watching this, because I posted to YouTube too, if you're watching this, you don't have an account, or your account is lapsed, or you don't know how to sign in, just reach out to your coach or reach out to someone else in the group and we'll help you out with that. If you're not sure, you can click this, you can click to sign in. It will prompt you to sign in before taking you to the cart. I think I linked that specifically to Beach Bars, but you can change around your cart. And once you put it in there, it'll show the discount just for your information. So if you are an Energizer, a chocolate cherry almond person, you can stock up this month for 20% off for sure. Yeah.
Or if you haven't tried them, it's a great time to try.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Awesome.
And the Beach Bars, honestly, they have 9 grams of sugar. Like they're such a low sugar bar they have 10 grams of protein and 9 grams of sugar. So I think they're a steal.
And if you put them in the microwave for like 10 seconds, don't get mad at me when you're like, holy.
Shush.
Yeah, I swear. Katie Moore, I got that from Katie Moore. She was like, you can hate me later. And kids will love them if you microwave them for like 10 seconds. They can be like a yummy dessert thing. And hold the phone on this, you can do a hard shell with Shakeology or Recover on your Beach Bar. And then it's like you're coating it in chocolate, but it's just a way to have your Shakeology and Recover.
Okay, I gotta go. Yeah, gotta go.
I'm gonna have a mug cake tonight, in true fashion. And there's a mug cake recipe coming up next week. So there was a banana, I'm looking at it on my other screen. There was a banana bread breakfast mug cake as like a little bonus in this week underneath the cookies and creamy fruit dip. Next week, the feature of it is an actual just legit mug cake with an optional nut or peanut butter. And then I'll have a new bonus in there too, because I love giving you new ways and fun ways to have Shakeology. If you're not a dessert person, just stick with the top recipe. But yeah, thanks so much for coming tonight. Does anyone have anything that they wanted to share in the final remarks?
Jordan.
Hi.
Hey.
I have nothing.
Okay. Just checking. Just wanted to give you an opportunity.
Nice. Well, it's Taco Tuesday in this
All right,
house.
guys.
Hope you all have a wonderful evening and
All right.
next week.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.